Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Railbookers webinar, Top Rail Holidays, Iconic Rail Journeys we're going to be looking at today. I hope you can hear me okay. First and foremost, I can see on my system that I seem to be showing the correct screen. You can see some people on the Glacier Express there. More about that train in a little while. But also, I hope you can hear me okay. What I'd like you all to do, if that's all right, is on the control bar on the right-hand side, there's a little area that says questions. If you would all be kind enough just to pop a note in there saying, hello, let me know your name and where you're tuning in from. It'd be great to know where you are, but also more importantly, just to make sure that you can hear me okay. I've had some horrible experiences of nattering onto myself for 10, 15 minutes before somebody brings it to my attention that they can't hear anything. But also nice to know where you are in the world. We had some folks from Australia joining us this morning. Thank you very much. Tuning in from Cheshire, good. I'm in York myself, the other side of the Pennines. But guys, I'm glad you can hear me okay. Let's crack on, shall we? Gay down in London, great stuff, wonderful. As I said, that's me. A bit of an old photo, I'd like to change it. My name's Gareth Jones. I'm the product manager of Railbookers, so it's my job normally to be out and about the trains, meeting our partners, having a hand in putting these great holiday packages together. What we're going to be looking at today, as it said, is some really top iconic rail journeys. But first of all, we've got some exclusive news for you. Flash sale we've got on at the moment, okay? Up until the end of the week. Basically, really top savings to be had. Any holiday to including Vienna, 4 nights or more, in Scotland, 4 nights or more, or in Switzerland with over 4 nights, you'll save £300 per couple. And you're travelling independently on your own, you're still going to save £150. It's still a very healthy saving. Italy for 7 nights or more, £400 per couple, or the Italian Lakes and Swiss Mountains holiday, which we will look at shortly, you will save £500 per couple. So I said that's only up until the end of the week, so I want to bring that to your attention first of all. If you're familiar with Railbookers, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're new to Railbookers, this is quite helpful. Okay, why travellers love Railbookers. So from 2 days to 2 years, our holidays go anytime, any day, anywhere. They do. We're guaranteeing holiday prices out as far as September 2022 at this stage. Very small deposit at this stage secures the price, secures everything within the holiday for you. The remaining payment is not due until 3 months prior to the trip. Okay, so you've got a long time to worry about the rest of the payment. On the flip side of that, of course, we're quite limited in terms of our travel options at this point in time, but who knows, towards Christmas, perhaps things might take a turn for the better. We can get everything booked, confirmed, in place, all with necessary travel documentation to you within 2 days prior to departure, okay? All our itineraries are customizable. So what that means is, if you see a holiday, we'll look at a few shortly, see any sort of holiday package on our website, you can chop and change it as much as you like. Really, you can add nights on, take nights away, you can add a destination in. If you've seen a really nice holiday you like, but you've been to perhaps one of the destinations in there before, we can miss it out and route you another way, for example. You can change the hotel. We work with a great selection of hotels on all the major destinations, ranging from 3-star to 5-star. You can change the class of travel. If there's any particular tours or sites you'd like to see in a destination or nearby, we can include that for you. It's all completely flexible. Independent holidays with freedom and flexibility, as mentioned, incredibly flexible. You're not traveling as part of a group. It's all independent travel. You've got to abide by the times of your trains, the dates you've got the hotels booked for, any tours you might have booked as well, but that's it. The rest of the time, you decide where you go for dinner, for example. You're up to your own devices to enjoy your holiday. We have a huge range of holiday types as well. Bucket list experiences for special occasions. We'll have a look at some of those soon as well. Some private trains, which is the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express, the Golden Eagle across Russia, for example, but also just some of the most beautiful regional train journeys as well. And some beautiful journeys along the coast down in South France, between Nice and Cannes, you know, and really short journeys, but absolutely gorgeous, top of some people's bucket lists. We've got it all covered. And of course, we're ABTA and ATOL protected. This year, we have the maximum flexibility offer. It's in place up until the end of the year. It's been in place since middle of February as well. Essentially, if you were to make a booking, book a holiday, you would be covered by this. It essentially means that you can change the date of travel or postpone your trip up to 5 days prior to departure without any amendment fee from ourselves, which of course in these uncertain times, if we do have another lockdown or any further travel restrictions, it's quite a handy thing to have on your holiday. And just on the safety side of things as well, wherever you are in the world on a Railbookers holiday, you can contact a member of the team with any questions or any assistance you might need. All these places are where we have an office. Well, the offices are empty at the moment. Everybody's working from home, but we're all providing exactly the same very good service as we would be if we were in the offices. So, you know, even in Sydney, Australia, wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day, you can ring an emergency number, which every customer has. You'll get through to a member of the staff. They can access exactly the same system and take care of you. Also on that little control bar where you found the questions area, there's a little area, it says handouts as well. If you open that, there'll be something in that says Railbookers European Rail Download. Click on it, right click, save, you print it off. It's quite a nice thing to stick on your fridge, for example, just to plot holidays and see where you can go. All those different kind of lines there, different scenic lines, different rail operators. We know them, we make it easy, as it says there. We can suggest the most scenic routes, suggest the best places to connect, etc. We're a partner of pretty much every major rail operator in the world. Here's just a handful of them. We'll look at a lot of Trenitalia and SBB, the Swiss rail operator, today. And just to touch on what it looks like travelling by train at the moment. Now, of course, everyone's fingers crossed that the restrictions, etc., are going to clear next year. Of course, we're all hoping for the world of travel at least to get back to some sort of normality. But at the moment, of course, like in the UK, pretty much everyone is requiring facial coverings in stations and on trains for passengers and staff. Okay. The sale of food and drink on board trains, it depends where you are in Europe, really. So France, Italy, there's no catering provided on board still. The buffet cars are closed. In Germany and Eastern Europe, you can get a cooked meal on board. But here, one of the great things about traveling by train, of course, you're not restricted to the same sort of restrictions as you would be in an aeroplane. You can take a picnic with you, of course you can. The Marks and Spencer's at St Pancras is open again, so you pop in there, get some sandwiches, get a bottle of wine to enjoy. Now, obviously, it's not the most attractive thing to be trying to enjoy a sandwich through a face mask, but we'll get by, and these things will improve. Changing seat configuration and allocation on board to allow for social distancing. Now, of course, this is less obvious in first class, where there are there is more space between the seats. And again, it depends where you are in Europe as well. So in France, where the unions have a bit more power, they've convinced the French government to let them run the trains at 100% capacity if they need to. In Italy, elsewhere, they're still running at sort of 50–60% capacity. But what a lot of them do is a one-way system. So one door at the end of the carriage is where you board the train, and the other door at the end of the carriage is where you get off the train. So no one's bumping into each other on the train. Of course, increased cleaning and sanitation, so cleaners on board, making sure the whole train is clean as you're going along, not just at the start and end of the trip, but also contactless ticket control. Something we're all going to get used to is having a mobile ticket, just to get it beeped by the conductor on board. If there's any technical issues with that, we can of course provide you with a print off of the confirmation as well, which would suffice. Let's have a look at some holidays, shall we? Well, somewhere which has been very popular this year is Scotland. Scotland's people going up to Scotland, absolutely, and why not? You can't forget that it's such a beautiful place and it's so close as well. The Grand Inverness and the Highlands via the Caledonian sleeper holiday. So you've got the beauty of the Highlands, 4 nights in Inverness, but also a journey on the Caledonian sleeper train from London up to Inverness. Sightseeing tours when you're up there of Loch Ness, Glenrock Castle, Isle of Skye, and Castle as well. Again, we're all kind of familiar with these images, but you do forget sometimes that they're so close by. But the Caledonian Sleeper, it was a new train launched last year. It did have some teething problems when it launched, just in terms of timetables and running time, things like that, but they've certainly kind of ironed all those problems. You've got a few different classes of travel here. So you've got club class included in the in the price, and you get breakfast served in your cabin there. You see the cabins are very spacious indeed. You've got a wash basin, really quite modern decor, and they're very, very comfortable. Great catering on board as well. A real adventure, and of course, in terms of social distancing, it's the best you're going to get where you've got your own private space, not sharing with anybody. Okay. Now, also in Scotland, you've got the Edinburgh and the Jacobite. You've got the Caledonian sleeper, the iconic sleeper train, one of the only 2 sleeper trains in the UK, the other one going down from London to Cornwall. But you've also got the Jacobite train as well, often it's the Harry Potter train, which runs between Fort William and Mallaig. Said to be one of the most scenic journeys in Europe, certainly one of the most scenic journeys in the UK. So here you got the sleep train up, 2 nights in Edinburgh, 2 nights in Fort William, and then the sleep train back down again, and the return day trip on the Jacobite, just over £1,000 per person. As I said, it gives you an idea of the service on board the train. Quite a kind of classic service, but the scenery is breathtaking at parts. It really is. One thing I should point out here is what's actually included in the holiday costs. So you've got all the travel, the accommodation in minimum 3-star hotel accommodation, including breakfast as well, plus the sightseeing tours mentioned also. Moving on to mainland Europe now, something a bit special. 2 of the most special trains in the world, I'd say, Bernina Express and the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express to Venice. So here, you're taking the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express from London to Venice, all the way there. We'll have a look at that shortly. 3 nights in Venice. Once you're there, you've got a small group walking tour, so for maximum 15 people. Really good tours in Venice, led by a Venetian, which are a dying breed, really. Venice, the actual kind of local population is shrinking in numbers rapidly. People are sort of moving out of Venice so quickly. Yeah, absolutely. You'll get a follow-up email with all the details on that. So I'll send you more details on the Edinburgh Jacobite. No problem at all. Forgive me, but the small group tour in Venice, it's great. It's led by a Venetian. They have such a passion for the city, and right, it is obviously gorgeous. But they know all the nooks and crannies, all of the little alleyways, and they know the histories of all the buildings, not just the famous palazzos, but all the little buildings and things, and show you some real little secrets down there. So it's lovely. You also get a tour of the Doge's Palace and Golden Basilica, which are breathtaking. Really do need to be visited if you're in Venice. Anyway, after 3 nights in Venice, up to Milan, then Tirano, onto the Bernina Express. I'd say it is the most scenic train journey in Europe. Up to St. Moritz, 2 nights by the lake, and then up to Zurich for a flight home. This is where that customizable side thing comes in. If you don't want to fly back, no problem at all. You can take the train back from Zurich as well. Zurich, Paris, Paris, London. One note though about flying is the flights included aren't just back to London to any UK airports. Plus, if you're flying into and out of Switzerland, it's brilliant because Geneva and Zurich airports particularly are so well connected with the rail network of the rest of the country. It's so easy to get around from the airports. The Bernina Express. I love the train, I really do. Not just for the scenery. I met my wife on this train 15 years ago, so I'm a big fan. But it's that breathtaking scenery. Couple of different images here. So the insert image in the top right-hand corner, that is the Bernina Express train. You see the panoramic windows all the way around, and that's first class. So you've got 2 seats on one side and 1 seat on another. Second class is just 2 and 2. Such. The train in the main image, that's just a normal regular train that runs the route as well. You don't need a reservation on the normal train, but so you don't get the panoramic windows. It's not as comfortable on board, really. It's still very comfortable, but it's not as the service on board. In our holiday package, we include reservations on the panoramic train. Okay. The journey you see there, it's kind of say crystal clear blue lakes, but they're not. They're very much sort of beautiful alpine turquoise style lakes. You go. I mean, I love this image. I really do. It gives you a great idea of the scenery, the actual scale of the mountains. It's very much like a toy town when you come through a little settlement or village. You start off heading north as you're on this holiday, in this palm tree lined valley in northern Italy, and you climb up through these beautiful gorges into some of the highest peaks of the Swiss Alps. This is the Brusio viaduct, and you see the train actually goes down 360 degrees and comes out under the bridge that it's on at the moment. If it went at any speed, it would be a roller coaster, but it doesn't. It slows down very nicely, but you know, a fun photo if you're at the front of the train, or the back of the train thing. Go with the Landwasser viaduct, which is a huge, great viaduct over a valley, comes out of a mountain over this valley and then carries on as well. It's breathtaking in parts. It runs all the way through the year, so it's not seasonal in any way. It's gorgeous. It really, really is very special. Beautiful, beautiful train journey. And then the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express, which again you're taking to Venice. So the journey. You start off from London Victoria, check your bags in, you board the British Pullman carriage. That takes you to the coast. You have a three-course lunch and things included there. The coast, you jump onto an executive coach, it quickly zips through the tunnel and gets to Calais. Calais, this train is waiting for you, the Grand Express Europeans, the VSOE, the proper Venice Simplon-Express. There's a big brass band, all the staff are lined up in their library waiting for you, welcoming you on board. The steward, not sure if that's that gentleman there, but it may be him, he'll show you to your cabin, that's where your bags will be. Wonderful system. They'll ask you which seating you'd like for dinner then. The early one, I think, is 7:30, or there's the 9:30. That way. The early one's the more popular, and rightly so, I think, because that way you sat down eating dinner as you come into Paris, which is really quite pretty because you get a great view of the Sacré-Cœur all lit up at night. You're coming into Cœur, very, very pretty indeed. Bottom left image there, that's the British Pullman. So that's the style of the UK leg down to the coast. Again, champagne fueled three-course lunch on there. Really jolly, great fun. Everyone's very excited to be on the train, of course. Fantastic. The bar car is normally the hub of the train, and very much so it is the heart and soul of the train. In the evening after dinner, everyone congregates there and has a good old time. All drinks are chargeable at the end of the trip, but at the moment in time, sadly, social distancing, etc., the bar car they've closed the bar car. And what they've done, which is actually a really great solution, is the restaurant cars. They are now day cars, so people can go and sit in the restaurant car. Normally, you only sit in the restaurant car when there's a meal, but at the moment, you sit in the restaurant car throughout the whole journey, if you like, and they'll serve you drinks there, which I think is lovely because the restaurant cars are some of the most detailed and most kind of characteristic of the whole train. Each restaurant car is different. There's the Côte d'Azur, there's the L'Orient restaurant car, all got different personalities. So you get a bit more time spent in these amazing pieces of work that they are, absolute masterpieces. The food, as you'd imagine, is amazing, just breathtaking what they can produce in the small kitchens. And then the cabin, so the twin cabin, that's basically the standard accommodation. That's what you've got here. It's very hard to really do the cabin justice because they are quite small, but that's just the nature of the historic train, okay? They're not en suite. There's a big toilet facility at the end of each carriage. It's like a toilet from a 5-star hotel or a Michelin star restaurant. It's amazing, but the craftsmanship and all the woodwork and things like that really is breathtaking. It really is. When you're out for dinner, the steward will change your cabin from the seating setup to the sleeping setup, and it's sort of an upper and lower berth. I don't say bunk bed, but it's it's bunk bed. And you get the steps up. They're not very steep either. There's about 5 steps, and they're quite an easy gradient to climb up. And you do get a lovely, great night's sleep. The door there in the bottom left, there's a door in between each of the cabins, the twin cabins, which if you want, you can book 2 of them and have the door unlocked, and then you've got separate seating, a separate sleeping area, but normally just the door is locked and you can't hear anything from side to side from either cabin either. The image in the top left-hand corner, that's every twin cabin has one of those as well. You open up the doors and there's a little wash basin, you can plug your hairdryer in. Breakfast is served in your cabin, and then southbound, around about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, the train pulls into Innsbruck, and it's in Innsbruck station for about half an hour, 3/4 hours. They attach a locomotive on the other end of the train. It comes out the way it came in, and it's nice. You can jump off the train there into the platform in Innsbruck station. You're surrounded by the Alps, breath of alpine fresh air, beautiful. Then the train makes it through the Brenner Pass, very very pretty route into Italy, past beautiful vineyards and things that comes down to Venice. Also included is a boat transfer as well. So from the train station, you haven't got to try and get a boat taxi or a gondola or the water bus. All the passengers get shuttled to the hotel, so you're all taken care of. It's a very, very special journey. It's only a limited capacity at the moment, of course, due to social distancing, etc. And very, very popular already for next year. So one of those things really want to get in there and get booked up as early as possible to confirm the space. Italy again, Venice again, but a different route and combined with Florence and Rome. Now, the interesting bit here is not just Venice, Florence and Rome, of course, which are amazing destinations in their own right, but the route as well. So we're going by the Simplon Pass. So route, the Venice Simplon-Orient-Express takes it on the way back to the UK. Train out, flight back, train to London to Paris, and then Paris to Geneva, come through the Jura Mountains, very pretty. Get to Geneva around about 6:30. Great hotel, the Hotel Corner, just over the road from the train station. Drop your bags off. You'll be by the lake in Geneva Old Town by 7 o'clock that evening, enjoying dinner. It's a running theme of mine. One of the cities or destinations in Switzerland, particularly or elsewhere, you've got a lovely old town. But Geneva it really has. It's got a bit of a bad rep for itself, just being a very business-orientated city. But down by the lake, particularly, is very, very pretty. Anyway, just the one night because the train leaves around about kind of 8 o'clock in the morning the next day, and it's beautiful through the Simplon Pass, passes through Milan to Venice. 2 nights in Venice, 2 nights in Florence, 2 nights in Rome. You've got sightseeing in all of them as well. Walking tour in Venice, walking tour in Florence. That's including the Uffizi Gallery as well. And then getting around Rome, the hop on, hop off is really helpful here. It is very walkable, Rome, but it's, you know, you do will feel tired after a day of wandering about. The hop on, hop off, again, you know, amazing way of seeing all the buildings and actually kind of getting an idea of the layout of the city without having to worry about negating the traffic or anything yourself. Flight back, if you don't want to fly back, a route we suggest, which is really nice, is a night in Turin, and then Turin to Paris, Paris to London. Underrated destination, Turin, very food orientated, really pretty, right in the middle of the city. But a good timings on the way back as well. You leave Turin about 10 in the morning. Good connection time in Paris. You're in London by 7:30 that evening. And the Simplon Pass, again, any time of the year. It's not seasonal. Coming out for the Swiss mountains from Geneva. You can obviously skirt around Lake Geneva as well, through the mountains, and then you come around Lake Maggiore. And these are images taken from the journey as well. So really, really pretty journey, Lake Maggiore, and then that's before you get to Milan. The train goes all the way direct to Venice, passes around Lake Garda when you come into Venice as well. But it's really a very, very pretty route, I think. Very special. And of course, you've got Venice, Florence, and Rome. Individually, amazing destinations, but it's so easy to combine, literally. 2.5 hours between Venice and Florence, an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes from Florence to Rome. Just the history, the unique character of each destination. Great combination. The Simplon Pass, the train from Geneva, as I said, it passes through Milan, and Milan is the gateway to Italy. So you can get pretty much anywhere in Italy from Milan, be it to Venice, Florence, or Rome directly to themselves, Cinque Terre, down to the Amalfi Peninsula, or even down to Sicily, Lecce, even going down to the heel of Italy. Bologna has become really popular at the moment as well. You can get anywhere from there. So following that route out, Milan's your oyster. No, Milan. Italy is your oyster, forgive me. Next up, back to Switzerland. Now, our most popular Swiss holiday, Switzerland's lakes and mountains. Again, we're coming into Geneva. Here, the price includes the flight in and flight out. Take the train, no problem at all. The price, 1,149 per person. That's based on flying. If you take the train out and the train back, our estimate is going up to £1,300 per person. There's that much of a difference in costs. Okay. Flying to Geneva, as said, really well connected. The airport, you get a train straight out, half an hour around the lake, you're in Montreux. Love Montreux, I really do. Big fan of it. Beautiful, the vineyards, UNESCO heritage status, really steep vineyards on Lake Geneva, very pretty. You've got Rochers du Nez, mountain railway going up, some amazing views across the lake. You can take a day trip over to Evian in France and taste the water in Evian. It's lovely, really is very pretty indeed. Overnight there, then you've got the Golden Pass train, probably the lesser known of the three most famous trains in Switzerland. The Golden Pass line up to Interlaken, 2 nights in Interlaken, day trip on the Jungfrau, and then down to Brig for the second kind of 2/3 of the full length of the Glacier Express train from Brig to Chur. Chur, the oldest city in Switzerland, really high up. It's got vineyards as well. It's an old Roman city. It's got vineyards that have been there thousands of years, so it's really nice wine there as well. And then you've got 2 nights there, so you do a day trip on the Bernina Express. So we looked at that before, from Tirano to Chur. You get Chur, Tirano, back to Chur in 1 day, which is lovely because it's the sort of scenery and sort of train line where in a different light, the scenery takes on a very different appearance, really. There's no other around it. It's beautiful at different times of the day. It's just a lovely day spent traveling by train. After 2 nights in Chur, up to Zurich airport and a flight back, or I said train back. So the Jungfrau is one of 3 mountains lined up next to one another, the Monch, the Eiger, and the Jungfrau. At the top of the Jungfrau is the Jungfraujoch. It's the highest railway station in Europe. To get there, you've got to take 3 different trains up, and to get down, you take 3 different trains down. Each train up is changing in gradient on the way up. It gets steeper and steeper, and you pass through places like Lauterbrunnen, Grindelwald, these famous kind of Swiss alpine villages, which, if you want to stay there, we've got great hotel partners in all of them, Wengen as well, particularly. There's some great hiking if you're looking to do a bit more walking around the Alps, particularly in springtime. Lauterbrunnen particularly popular just because of great waterfall and dramatic views across the whole valley. But as I said, the train goes up. The last leg passes through the Eiger Mountain. You stop in this tunnel. There are windows that you can look out and look down into the valley. It's amazing. But once you get up to the top, you could see as far as France and Germany and Italy on a clear day. There's a huge, the Glacier in front of you, which is the biggest glacier in Europe. It's amazing. It really is. As I said, the train station is actually inside the mountain. You become breathless up there. There's a notable change of temperature. You get guaranteed snow. You're not guaranteed ice and snow up there, so it's very different to being down in the valley. At the end of the year, there's going to be a handy new gondola, sorry, cable car that's going to be opened up, which is going to add another dimension to it as well, which you can take. You can take the train or you can take the gondola. The gondola is a bit quicker, and again, if you're adventurous, it's give a bird's eye view across part of it as well. But it's a very, very special thing to do for a day. You can do it actually, get up early enough as a half a day as well. You can spend as much time as you want up there. The trains are every half an hour. You just jump on any time you want. If you come back down, Interlaken, the town you're staying in, Interlaken, it sits in between 2 lakes. That's where it is located. And around the lakes, there's some really nice boat rides to do around there as well. Little cruises, lots of little chateaux and medieval castles dotted around that you can pop up and have a wander around as well. So you could really pack your day and do the Jungfrau and do that. Or the Jungfrau is often enough for most people. It's such a rewarding day out. Now, the Glacier Express is the other sort of iconic train journey we'll talk about here. Probably the most famous of the trains in Switzerland, and rightly so. The slowest express train in the world, we call it. Got an average speed of about 30 miles an hour. It's amazing. The full length of the Glacier Express is from Zermatt to St. So in this holiday, we're just doing 2/3 of it, the most scenic 2/3 from Brig to St. Brig to Chur, sorry, Brig to Chur. These are the carriages, panoramic carriages. These are carriages like you have on the Bernina Express thing, have a reservation on. This train doesn't run throughout the year. It doesn't run in November. So there's a gap between middle of October until the middle of December. It doesn't run. Goes over nearly 300 bridges. The name suggests you see amazing glaciers, amazing scenery. Get some high, serious altitude here as well. Nearly 90 odd tunnels you pass through. There's second class, there's first class. You can order food in both of those when you're on board. It's freshly cooked and they're serving it now as well. Now, if you were to take the full length of the Glacier Express from St. Moritz to Zermatt and Zermatt to St. Moritz, you could travel in excellence class, which I'd say is like a 5-star hotel, so a Michelin star restaurant on rail. The most sought after window seats in the world, I'd say. And you can see that it's just the 2 seats opposite one another on both sides. So there's only about 22 seats in the carriage. There's only 1 carriage per train, so it's really sought after, very limited availability. Private bar, just for people in excellence class. You get a 3-course lunch, series of top quality lunch, all the drinks included, and you get an afternoon tea before you arrive. Each of the passengers get, say, an iPad to play with while you're on board as well, which tells you about the journey and everything, the sites you're passing. Really very special. Again, if it is a special occasion or something you're traveling for, this is a great way of celebrating that particular day. And then finally, the big holiday, the Italian lakes and Swiss mountains. It does what it says on the tin. You have this one here. Start with a flight down to Rome. Quickest way to get there. 2 nights in Rome with a trip around St. Peter's and Sistine Chapel and Vatican Museum. It's early doors for that, and you avoid the crowds, which is brilliant. And it's one of the best museums I've been to. Just the treasures they have there, second to none, I would say. And then up to Milan, to Lake Maggiore, 2 nights in Stresa, over to Como for 2 nights there. And then you journey on the Venice Express up to St. Moritz, and then you've got pretty much the you've got the Glacier Express to Interlaken, 2 nights to Jungfrau, and then up to Zurich for a flight back as well. So just over £2,000 per person, but again, you've got that £500 per couple saving in place at the moment. Lake Maggiore, Stresa, you're staying in there. Ernest Hemingway used to stay in the hotel, the Bottomese, famous hotel there. You've got beautiful islands down in Maggiore. I can't remember the name of the other island, sorry. But beautiful palaces on the islands, and you've got sort of flocks of parakeets who live there as well freely. So really, really, really pretty little corner of the world. The second largest lake, which I always surprises me. I always think of Garda, Como, Maggiore. I think it's quite small, but Como is in fact the smaller of the 3. And Como, a historic Como, of course. You've got a great mountain funicular here up to the town called Brunate. Which you've got some spectacular views across the lake as well. You get some boat trips up to Bellagio if you want to go up there. Swimming, not really. It's very deep very quickly, Como, and there's lots of moss and things like that. It's not polluted, but I wouldn't suggest swimming. If you're looking to do a bit of swimming, Garda would be your best bet. Just around the shoreline a bit from Sirmione and things. There's some very nice beaches so you can swim from there, etc. as well. Well, I hope that's whetted the appetite a little bit for some of you guys. I really do. I hope you found it helpful and interesting. At least, where do you plan your holiday next to? Where are you looking to go? Let me know also if you've been to any of these places before. That'd be really interesting to hear your feedback on any of those. If you haven't already, have a look at railbookers.co.uk, please do. The best place to start is destinations, the left-hand side. Over 3,000 destinations featured in the holiday packages. Again, if there's nothing, if where you want to go isn't featured there, give us a call, send us an email, talk about it, and we can sort some, put it together for you, no problem at all. Holiday types, hundreds of different holiday types as well, just to give you some inspiration. Luxury trains, sleeper trains, scenic trains, blue trains, red trains, green trains. You get the drift. It's really, really great way of just getting some ideas, I think, there. Special offers, it's always worth having a look and see what special offers we've got in place. If you'd like this, next week's going to be fun. Next week, we're looking at life on board sleeper trains with Railbookers. And in 2 weeks' time, we've got Imperial Cities by train, Berlin, Vienna, Prague. And then in 3 weeks' time, Scotland by train. Top 5 rail holidays, okay? Now, please let me know any questions you have. Okay, the Jungfrau trip is included in the Switzerland's lakes and mountains. Absolutely, yeah, and in the Swiss, the Italian lakes and Swiss mountains holiday. Absolutely, and the cable car, yeah, absolutely. That's what we'll chat. I'm planning on changing that over very soon, so it will include the cable car. There's no difference in the cost, be it the cable car down or the train down as well. So you do have the flexibility, or the customer has the flexibility to choose on the day as well. We can, of course, give you suggested timings and the routing. but on the day you can decide which one you want to take. So it's great to have that flexibility just in case you change your mind at the last minute things. But the cable car looks brilliant, it really does. It's modern, they're roughly every 40 seconds, so incredibly regular, and they've got a space for 20 people on board each cable car as well. Just an amazing view as you're coming down to Grindelwald. That's where the main station is. So it's going to be fun. Terry, yeah, good question. So Lake Garda, yeah, we don't feature it in there, but we feature Lake Garda on a lot of different holidays. So it's sometimes quite hard to match up with Como and Maggiore, all three of them together, just through the rail connection into and out of Milan a lot. But we've got some great holidays combining Verona and Lake Garda. It's only about a 40-minute drive from Verona to Lake Garda, so it's really easy. Venice and Lake Garda and Lake Como. There's lots and lots of kind of combinations. Have a look at the website, or feel free to give us a call. Any of our kind of colleagues will be happy to discuss the options with you. Okay, great question. Yeah, so any assistance for people with mobility issues, sort of stick users and things like any assistance available. Depends where you're in Europe again. Yeah, in Italy they are quite helpful. They're able to assist there just in terms of getting people on off the trains. We do have some control in terms of seating passengers as well, whereabouts they're seated on the train. So you can seat closer to the door, so it's not really far to walk down the carriage and things like that. We can certainly kind of look at that. It's always worth mentioning these sort of special requests because we can certainly provide as much assistance as possible. In other places in Spain, for example, it's not that easy to organise, but in France, Italy, Switzerland to an extent as well, we can certainly, yeah, there's certainly kind of facilities set up. Luggage, yes, again, a little bit, yeah, again, the assistance would be somebody helping you, maybe in a golf cart or something with your luggage. Less so just in terms of people carrying your luggage, just for security sakes. A lot of operators don't really like to do it, but if there are sort of mobility issues, they'll be able to assist you and your luggage with you, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions, don't hesitate and give us a call, 0203 780 2222, or feel free to pop into your local travel agent or give them a call if you are close with them, or feel free to drop me an email, gareth.jones@railbookers.com. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful, and have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.